Sega.
Hi there YouTube, Voan here today, and welcome back to Sega Month for the third week here. So today we're gonna look at the console that I have never had before. So right here in this very box we have the very awesome Sega Saturn. You know, Sega's third or fourth console in their lifespans at the time. So we're gonna unbox this. We're gonna see what's inside this magnificent box and all the games, all the stuff that came with this Saturn here. I have this Saturn for at least 5 years now, so it's kind of a little bit shady or a little bit out of quality there. I mean, one of them has like maybe a dead batteries, or maybe at least close to being dead, and there's the other Saturn, which is pretty much almost the same as the other one, but it's newer, I think. And there's a lot of controllers, a lot of games, a lot of hookups. So let's see what's inside the box, and let's hope that it's good. So let's open this box up, and you can see all of the magnificent stuff inside this box, neatly put together here. So here is the shiny PS2. No, wait a minute, that's the Sega Saturn, not PS2. Wait a minute, it is the PS2. What are you doing in here? Yeah, this is my PlayStation 2 Slim. Don't know why it was in there. Maybe, well, my brother forgot to take it out. We'll talk about this someday, but not today though. Yeah, I think it was bought for 60 bucks. I know it was very cheap. If you have this PS2, keep it. It has a lot of good games. But yeah, sorry about that, but this is the Sega Saturn. So if you can look and see at the box here, we got the Saturn console. We have all of the hookups and controllers in here. You got all of the games over here, and we have the second Sega Saturn in here. So we'll take everything out of the box and put it back together later. So let's unbox this and see what it looks like. So here is the Model 1 Sega Saturn. So if you look at that, you can see it's very, very big, very heavy too. If I remember correctly, this console cost at least maybe $400 when it first launched. And as a kid at the time, I did not know anything about this console other than the fact that it was Sega's new console, and is a console that I probably will never get until now. So, but it is a disc-based console. If you see here, you can see it has the power buttons, it has reset buttons. This is to open the hatch, so it's a top loader, and that's good. Here is a cartridge slot over here. This cartridge slot is for memory backup and for RAM usage, also to use any kind of accessory that allows you to region free your systems. And yeah, it doesn't play any games. You cannot plug in Genesis games there to play. Would be great if it has Genesis compatibility though. Nice Sega logo over there. Here you have the two proprietary Sega Saturn controller ports for playing Sega Saturn games. Now that's the one thing that kind of is a bummer about the system. It does not use that it does not use the same hookup as the Genesis or Master System controllers, and because it uses its own proprietary controllers, you have to use those controllers. And yeah, to me that is kind of like a little bit let down there, because without the compatibility you probably can't play Genesis stuff in here anyways. On the side, you got all of these stuff for all the air dust and things, so that the air can get out. On the back here, you actually got some very nice things. This hatch over here opens up that that place for the internal batteries. So if you look at that, it has a kind of watch batteries in here that allows you to internally save some of your games and RAMs and stuff. That's the one thing great about the Sega Saturn here, is that you can actually play games and save it directly to this internal battery here without wasting any of your memory card space. So that's a great thing about the Sega Saturn here. And the best thing is that, unlike the Dreamcast, where whoever designed the Dreamcast also used this internal battery as well, but taking this battery off on the Dreamcast is like a nightmare. Whereas if you play the Saturn version and you want to take and just replace these batteries, all you have to do is just lift it out. So you don't really have to do that big of all you had to do is pretty much do it like that, and you can easily replace this battery anytime whenever it goes bad. So let's see if I could hook it back in. Yeah, so it's pretty much just like that. So you can easily replace a dead battery without actually have to like take the whole consoles off and mess a lot of those components just to take this one little thing. Not to mention the Dreamcast battery is kind of soldered into the system, so if you have to learn a whole lot of soldering techniques to get it out. Whereas with the Saturn here, it's pretty much just plug and play. You just plug it in if you ever want to use the new ones and just play with it. So that's a great plus on the Saturn here. Another great plus here is, if you look at here, you have the power outage here, so it allows you to plug in that power adapter. Now the great thing about this power adapter is that if you look at here, yeah, this is the power cable that came with the Saturn. So if you look at this power cables, do you know something odd about this? Yeah, it does not have that stupid brick like all the other consoles. So that is one great thing I love about the Saturn here, is that you don't have to deal with that stupid blocky power adapter anymore, because the Saturn is already bulkiness by itself. The power we're actually stored in here now, so you don't have that power brick to mess around with. So you could pretty much just plug it directly like this, and then play it, and then save a lot of space on your cable there. So that's really great. Sega actually learned a lot from their past mistake with the Saturn here. I just don't get why people don't like the Saturn the way it is. It's a really great, unique system here, and this power cable proves that if you buy the Sega 32X or the Sega CD and hook up with a Genesis, you know the nightmare of having power adapters, and the Saturn was made just to solve all of that. And if you have just a Saturn, that's great. That's pretty much all you need. You don't need those stupid power bricks to mess around with. You also have this AV hookup. It uses maybe the same hookup as the Genesis, or maybe a different one. I don't know, it looks kind of the same, but it also has this communication connector port here for you to actually connect those communicator wires. I think it was to allow you to play some of the few games online too. There were the Sega did release a kind of accessory that will allow you to play some games online, but I think that was a Japanese thing. It never came to fruition here in America. That's good. On the side here, the same thing as on the other side. Down here, you have you don't have any extension port or anything down here, but you do have all these labels telling you about warranties and stuff. And yeah, cautions labels and everything too. So I had to say, the Saturn is a really nicely built console here. This is the Model 1 version. I'll show you the Model 2 version right here too. Yeah. So over here we have the Model 2, which is pretty much almost the same. I guess it might be smaller. I don't know, maybe, or maybe just the same, but if you look at it, yeah, it looks kind of the same. Except the button is a little bit rounded now instead of oval like the other ones. It's still a top loader though, and still use the same controllers. Still has the same hookup, and still have the same battery compartment over here too. You can still do the same thing as you do the other one. It doesn't have any extension port on the bottom at all too. So I don't get the difference between these two systems though. One is just different buttons and all that stuff. So, but yeah, like I said, one is much newer than the other one. So I just play them two the same way. But if one ever broke, then I'll probably just go with the other one. But both of them works really great now. We'll try the Model 1 and save the Model 2 for later. But these are all the hooks in there. So it came with both of them, I guess. But they use a standard AV cable. You can get a S cable for this too if you want. But this is the regular cable that came with it. Yeah, like the other ones, it also uses its own powers. This one is the other one. And also, if you go to some of the retro sites, sometimes if you're very lucky, you might be able to get some S cable with it too. So this will work on the Saturn as well. This is the cable that I got from Retrobits. So it actually works really great. Makes the picture quality looks that much nicer. Also, other than all these cable junks and stuff here, we also have the Sega Saturn controller. So I'll put all these wires away and we can look at the controllers. I actually have like 3 different kinds of controllers here, so they are actually a much more I think it's a much more updated versions of the Genesis controllers, but with a lot of some of the Super Nintendo feature added to them as well. So this right here, this little controller here, I'll just untangle these wire here so you can see them. Looks really cool too. I mean, yeah, this is the original Sega Saturn controllers. It has this very futuristic designs that looks a lot like a boomerang, but it's not. It kind of resembles more of the modern controls that we use nowadays with the Xbox One and PS4 controllers. Has this black glossy finish and all of these gray borders around it. A Sega logo there. You got a start button here. You got the 6 face button like the Sega Genesis. You got the X, Y, Z, A, B, C. You got the 2 shoulder buttons, the L and R. They actually ditched the mode button this time, so no more modes for this. But you got this nice little D-pad here too. And this D-pad, like unlike the Sega Genesis D-pad, however, this D-pad does kind of feel bothersome at times because if you look at it, it has some kind of edges here that whenever you play fighting games or any kind of games, sometimes your thumb might hit the edges and you might have blister cuts on your thumb. And that's the one thing I don't like about this D-pad, is because of that. It has these edges around it. Kind of similar to how Nintendo designed their D-pad with these almost sharp edges. And yeah, but other than that, it's a pretty nifty design controllers. The wire length is okay. It's almost as good as what the Genesis the wire controller goes for. But yeah, it's pretty much the same. It's a much more updated versions to that of the Genesis. It works really well. Works with all of the games that I have so far. But it's good. Other than the original Sega Saturn controllers in Japan, they actually have a much better controllers than what we have here. So here's the Sega Saturn Japanese controllers. As you can tell, you have some very pinkish shoulder buttons up here. You have a nicer D-pad. This is the D-pad that I actually love because it doesn't have those sharp edges like the one that we got over here. It got the XYZ, ABC, and I love how the ABC is like color coded, similar to the Super Famicom's. It has a very reddish start buttons over here too, and a nice Sega logo up there. And it just looks like a well-designed controller. It works way better than the American one that we got over there too. So if anything, we'll be just going to play with this one more. Yeah, but this is not the last controller that we got for the Saturn either. There's like redesigns of the original ones too. And here it is. So considering that the original controllers had that sharp D-pad, we actually have a redesign over here, and this time Sega actually designed the second. I mean, this came with a Model 2 Sega Saturn. It actually has a much better D-pad, similar to the D-pad that was on the Sega Genesis. So this D-pad is really great. The Saturn logo is in the middle now. You have the ABC, XYZ, nicely similar buttons to that of the Genesis, and you have a much better feel of these shoulder buttons up here too. And this is the controller that I would recommend you to get if you have a Saturn. I mean, I don't really like the original on how it designed its D-pad here. I mean, it's very hard. It's very hard tactiles, and you do get blister from time to time too if you play games for much longer with these D-pad here. But with this one just feels perfect. I just don't get why Sega does not design a redesigned controller like this for the Dreamcast. It will work much better for the Dreamcast if it has a D-pad like this and more buttons like these. Whereas on the Dreamcast, it has like 4 face buttons and 2 L&R buttons, which makes it similar to that of the Super Nintendo. And although the Super Nintendo is a great system, its controller is pretty much the same as this one, except that the Super Nintendo doesn't have that comfortable D-pad in there. And for Dreamcast to ditch the C and Z buttons, it's also a mistake on the Dreamcast part too. Yeah, I had to say, the Saturn controller here works very well. If you look at the back here, I mean, nicely designed controller. It looks just like the Japanese controller, but in that black glossy finish too. So I have to get props for Sega for doing that. So with those wires and controllers and all that stuff out of the way, it's time to look at the games. So here is the pack games that came with the Saturn that I got when I first bought this. Now, I didn't buy the Saturn in the 90s, so I actually bought this like I said 5 years ago, so all these games are probably just used games. But inside this package you have 3 free games: Virtual Fighter 2, Virtual Cop, and Daytona USA. And if you actually follow some of my video, Virtual Fighter 2, I actually used one of the music in one of my reviews earlier too. If you see my Sega Genesis Ultimate Portable review, you learn that one of the theme there is from this game. So yeah, and you have some very nice description then too, with 1 screenshots for each. So it's really great. We'll test some of these games later on too. So more inside the box, you have this nice little action replay cartridge. This is a cheat device, a RAM card, and a freeloader all combined into one. So you can use this to back up your save files, use this to add more RAMs to some of the games that needs them. You can use this to apply cheat codes and mess around with any games you like. You can even use this to play other regions games too. So if you really want to play Japanese games like Princess Crown or Street Fighter 03 or Marvel Superhero versus Street Fighters, or maybe those other 2 scenarios for Shining Force 3, you can use this and play with them. Considering that if you know Japanese, that is, because some of those games are not translated yet. But yeah, it adds 4 megabits of RAM to it too. So that's really good on the Saturn part here. That's the one thing I like about Action Replay. They pretty much give you a whole lot of features that no other company that do this ever does. I mean, Game Genie doesn't even do this, so yeah, I'm just glad that I have this. Of course, I don't have any import games here yet, but this does work. Over here, you got the legendary Resident Evil, the first one on the Saturn. Unfortunately, this is not the original Resident Evil. It's pretty much just a port of the PlayStation version, but it's a really great game though. If you want to play the original Resident Evil in its original form, then the Saturns and PlayStations are pretty much what you're gonna get. It's M for mature, so you have to be at least older like us to play it. But yeah, it's a really nice game. Compared to the PlayStation version, it's pretty much on equal ground. It doesn't have anything more or anything less, just perfect the way it is. So that's great on the Saturn part to be able to get a port like this. I mean, back then Capcom really go out of their way to making great games like this, and I just don't get why they fall very, very far from what they used to be. So Resident Evil, it's a great Saturn games. Also in here we have the legendary Doom, also for Sega Saturn. Now this is not that great of a port of Doom, but it is kind of okay though. Compared to the Super Nintendo version, it's still better, but the frame rate for this is not as good, and it's not as well I mean, it doesn't run that smooth. That's pretty much the only problem. Other than that, the enjoyment factors of it is still the same. You still got 60 levels of brutal, bloody things, and all those ultra hardcore modes and levels and chapters and all that stuff in there too. I mean, it's almost the same as what the Jaguar version is, just with all those haunting music that you get on the our PC versions included in there too. So that's really good. I mean, the artwork looks great too. If you look at it in here, man, that's good. Now, the only one thing that I don't like about Saturn package is that unlike the Sega Genesis, where they come in nice plastic case, a lot of the CD games at the time, when Saturn, PlayStation, Dreamcast, 3DOs, and Jaguar CDs and all that stuff, and Sega CDs and all that stuff, they came with jewel boxes like this. And the one thing I don't like about jewel boxes case like this is that they're not durable. They could easily break. I mean, I could easily accidentally drop this game right now and this box will be all messed up. So I just don't like these jewel cases, but the artworks on there are very good too. And the one thing that I do love about this is that the manual here could also be substitute for the box cases too. So yeah, with the jewel case here, they actually save some money by not making original cover for it, because the manual could easily become the cover. So that's great. That's clever on their part. But like I said, as clever as that is, jewel boxes are very crappy. So I don't like these jewel boxes. Which is what we get for the next game here is Rayman. And Rayman here, as you can see, Rayman here has a plastic box now. So when I bought this game, it did not came with a jewel case. It just came with a normal CD on a plastic CD cases. But this is the original Rayman on the Saturn. It doesn't have a manual either, which is why I don't have a manual here. So, but since that CD case that I came with got destroyed, I actually ordered a different plastic case now, and somebody actually make a nice little artwork cover for it and then put it inside a DVD cases and make it a Saturn box. So I would recommend doing this. I would recommend if Sega ever made a new console, CD based console for that matter, that they go this route and made like DVD cases, using DVD cases instead of those jewel box cases like I showed earlier, because those jewel box cases could easily be damaged and unusable. So yeah, but Rayman here's a great game. I mean, if you look at it, I think it might be even better than the PlayStation version. I haven't played much of the old Rayman games, but I do have Rayman Advance for the GBA, and I really love that game. So to be able to play Rayman in full screen like this is great too. So I'll show you this game later in the review too. So, and then here is one of the best games of all time that I wish I would have played back then, but did not. But this is X-Men: Children of the Atom, one of the very first X-Men fighting games made by Capcom. And like I said, Capcom went out their way to make great games like this. Fortunately, this one was developed by Acclaim, but Capcom were the people that made the arcade version, and for Acclaim to come and grab this and make a flawless versions of it is really good. I mean, you can tell that's flawless by all of these scores from GamePro right here. I mean, if you look at it, man, you have like 4 guys with a wacky hair down there, and that proves, I mean, you have 5 perfect score on all 4 categories, so that proves that this is an awesome game. I mean, GamePros are really great for their reviews back at the times, and whenever I want to buy a game, I usually go to their reviews and actually see if it's worth the time or money. But yeah, just look at that, the graphics, the characters, all the flashiness of it too. Yeah, a story about these GamePro score here is that back in the days, like I said, I usually turn to GamePros or Nintendo Power for whenever I want to find the great games. And for GamePros, me and my brother used to look at this and say, okay, let's look for our next game to buy. And we actually open up the magazine, check it. Usually we don't care about reading about any of these any of the review stuff. We just look for the scores, and if it has the guy with the wacky hair in it, then it has to be good, so we have to go and buy it anyways. And that's pretty much what we look on GamePro whenever we want to buy a great game. Okay, just look for games and see if the review had the guy with the wacky hair. If it has the guy with the wacky hair, that means it's good. Let's go buy it. And that's pretty much what we do, and we have been buying great games ever since. I mean, buying good games actually, and a lot of them has the guy with the wacky hair in there. The guy with the wacky hair represents goodness. So my brother usually, if it has that guy, go and buy it. We just don't even care about reading it. Just go out there, buy it, and let's have a blast with it. That's pretty much what we do. And for this X-Men game to have 4 guys with the wacky hair in there, that makes it a masterpiece, I think. I mean, this is the kind of game that my brother would buy. Unfortunately, the bad thing about this box here is that now it's broken. So this is the part where I already told about how I don't like these jewel cases because they're not doable like that. They could easily break. So, but they also could be easily put together too. I mean, you just have to be careful with them, I think. But yeah, that's the one thing I don't like about the jewel cases. I mean, which is why I would rather prefer what I did with the Rayman case. Just like buy a custom DVD case and just put all the artworks in there. But I don't have any custom artworks with this game, so might as well keep it the way it is. Fun game too with X-Men right there. Here you got Ultimate Mortal Kombat 3 on the Saturn. I'll show you this one later too. This one is different from the Super Nintendo and Sega Genesis version, and it's actually much closer to the arcade version. If you look at the back here, if you look at the screenshot, that looks very faithful to the arcade. Same thing for all the graphics, and if I can show you the game, all the sounds and grunts and stuff are in there too. It does have less character than what the Genesis and Super Nintendo version offers, but all of the agonies and all of the fatalities and all the gameplays and balance are in the game, and they works better than the 16-bit version. Since they're on the Saturn, they were meant to be better anyway. So that's this Ultimate Mortal Kombat 3 here. Here we got The Lost World Jurassic Park. It was based on the movie that came out at the time, and I have to say it is a decent game. You get to play as a dinosaur this time too. One part you're playing the dinosaur, the other part you probably play the hunter. So didn't get very far with this game, but it is a very fun game too if you want to try something different. In here you get Black Dawn, a simulation shooting game, I think. You control a chomper and you go out killing things. Kind of similar to If I had to say, I say it's similar to Urban Strikes and Desert Strikes and all that. I mean, it's kind of similar to the Strike games, but in a more 3D perspective. You're actually inside the chopper shooting at things rather than like actually control it from the overhead view. So yeah, it's a really fun game too if you like exploding things and shooting at things. And finally, we got the game that is awesome on every console it's ever been. Mortal Kombat 2. Who wouldn't love this game? I mean, there is no versions of Mortal Kombat 2 that sucks. So Mortal Kombat 2 is a masterpiece on every possible consoles. So if you have a console and that console has Mortal Kombat 2, you don't have to worry about anything because it's great. If you ever find a Mortal Kombat 2 that sucks or it's broken, then you can tell me about it and I'll probably put that theory down. But other than that, Mortal Kombat 2 on any console is good, and on Saturn is just as good. I mean, it does have a few missing sounds and grunts a little bit, and Shao Kahn doesn't announce people's name, and it does kind of have that lagging loading features in there too. But other than that, it's still fun to play. Everything works the way it should. All the endings are in there, and yeah, it's not as better as the 32X version though. But who wants to play that version when you got this one? I mean, with this one, you don't have to waste like 2 power bricks to play it, so that's great. So yeah, that's all the games that we have on this Saturn unboxing here. So while we'll test all these games, and yeah, so that's the Sega Saturn. Okay guys, so we got the Sega Saturn all hooked up down there, and we're gonna try this package first with the Virtual Fighter 2 Virtual Cop in Daytona, USA. So we're gonna see how all these 3 games work on that Saturn down there, and see how it goes. So right here, they come with this little template case for the disc. So this is Virtual Fighter 2 front and back. So the disc inside here, and this is pretty much what the Saturn disc looks like. So if you look at it, looks very similar to all those other CD discs too. I mean, different from the PlayStation disc. If you look at the back, you can actually see all this nice shimmering CD quality thing. It doesn't have that many scratches. It's pretty much almost brand new actually. So let's see how will Virtual Fighter 2 play on the Saturn, and let's get it on with the testing here. So this is Virtual Fighter 2 on the Sega Saturn. So if you can see here, we had to do a few things. I usually don't bother with most of these stuff, so I pretty much just skip them. I'll turn the volume on a little bit. So there it is. There's the Sega Saturn. It has its own OS menu like setting too, but we'll get to that later on. But right now, let's see the Saturn and how it plays. So let's see how it loads, and let's play ourselves some Virtual Fighters. So as you can see, it has almost the exact same title screen as that of the Genesis one too, and I have the Genesis one, but the Saturn one here has a lot more modes. So you get the arcade mode, the versus mode, expert mode if you're the kind of person who really want to fight that much and want to show the skill, a ranking mode, a team battle mode, which is great, the mode that inspired part 3, a watch mode if you just want to relax and watch the character fight themselves, and yeah, the options. So I really don't have any problems to changing the settings, so we'll just go to arcade mode and start. And if you can look at the character selection screen here, yeah, it has 10 selectable characters, 2 more than the Genesis version. So I'll choose my favorite character, which is Cage. So let's see how Cage plays. We're using the Saturn controller, so plays very much faithful to that of the arcade version too. You only have 3 buttons to use though, so can't really use the upper 3. Yeah. Ready? Ah, shit, I'm not ready yet. There's like a punch button, a kick buttons, and a guard button, so you can block their attacks somehow. There he goes. Oh yeah, he can advance himself too. Okay, he looks a lot like Shinobi a little bit. Okay, let's see. Ready. Let's do Viscera here. You really have to really do your attack timing very good to actually be good at this game. So there's ring out in this game too, and usually with 3D fighters like this, I don't like ring out that much. But this game, ring out is okay. Yeah, come on, Cage, kill her. KO. Let's see, stage 3. See who it is. I mean, Virtual Fighter 2 goes really fast, huh?
Ready, go!
Aw, man, I wasn't ready. I was never ready. Aw, man, Shendi's kicking my ass. But I can make a quick comeback. There he goes. Yeah. Ready. Ah, missed that kick. Man, Shendi is like a drunken master or something. That guy knows how to counter-attack you. And this music kicks a lot of ass too. It sounds really great with Shendi here. Alright, so who's next? Yeah, this girl is really hard too sometimes. She can actually grab your limbs and throw you sometimes too if you're not careful. And this girl looks all like Chun-Li. I mean, Pai Chan has the same last name as Jackie Chan. Come on, Pai. Oh man, she can easily turn this match around. Alright, she's gonna get it. Or she's not gonna get it. Come on. Oh man, she had done that combo earlier. Wasn't ready for that. Okay, I'll try another character and see if, or maybe not. Different from other fighting games, if you continue, I had to continue with the same guy, so. Oh man, I forgot to stomp her while she's down too. Usually that works great. Come on, Pai Chan. Aw, that's what I'm talking about. She can grab your limbs like that easily, just like Geese Howard on Fatal Fury does. The only thing I don't like about a lot of the Virtual Fighter game like this is that, the only thing I don't like about most of these Virtual Fighter games that is because the jumping is kind of slow sometimes. It's kind of floaty. If only the game would let me choose another character, I could easily beat Pai with maybe Akira or someone, but this girl, I mean, Cage is not really good fighting this girl here. Aw, man. Come on. Come on, do that combo. There he goes. Oh my god, oh my god. Aw, damn it. Yeah, I'll never get past Pai. I usually have trouble up to Pai, so that's just me with this game here. So let's try another game, man. Maybe we'll have a better chance with the other ones. So that was Virtual Fighter 2. on the Sega Saturn via this compilation here. So now we'll play ourselves some Virtual Cop. So this is Virtual Cop front and back here, and this is the disc from Virtual Cop. So let's see how Virtual Cop fares. Maybe it might be excellent. So hopefully we don't have to see that other screen again. I mean, so there it is. That's the Sega Saturn right there. Alright, so let's see how Virtual Cop plays. Please wait. I don't want to wait. I want to play. There he goes. Alright. I don't have the gun for this game, so it might be a little bit tricky to play with the controllers. It'll be easier with the gun, but yeah, it's still okay. So we have 3 different modes. We got, if you're a beginner, you can play this one. If you're not a beginner, you can try the second one. If you're an expert, you can go for the third one, but I'll just go with the medium one. Maybe that might be okay with my kind of level here. So let's see how it plays. Maybe it might be good, maybe it doesn't. So never tried this game before, so let's see. Oh, reload. How do you reload? Ah, there it goes. It's an on-rail shooter, so come on, how you reload? I should have gone to the option menu sooner, just to find out what reload is. Yeah, let's go check the menu. Maybe we can find out what reload is. I mean, I try to press any of these buttons and I can't reload it that fast enough, so I just wonder why I never played this before. I mean, I had this game for a long time, never thought about it. Let's see, there's difficulties, there's a life, there's continue, gun adjustment, key assign. Let's see, key assign. Well, oh yeah, the C button is the reload. Okay, speed up, shoot. So it really does use only 3 buttons. I don't get why I was having a problem a while ago. So let's try again, and let's go back to that level. And with an amateur player like me playing this game, yeah, you just have to redirection first. See how it plays this time. Maybe we could get a better experience. Alright, where are you guys? There he goes. Now I'm better. There he goes. Come on, I reloaded. Ah, killed the wrong guy. Yeah, that's the other thing you don't want to do, is that just have to make sure you don't kill the wrong people, otherwise you might get penalty for it. Come on, I already reloaded. Ah, it takes a while to reload too. Man, those other people had to blend in with the other people too. Sometimes you. There he goes. it'll be easier with the gun, because on the gun you just have to click it to reload it, whereas on this one you have to you have to press the C button sometimes, and most of the time it just wouldn't come on that instant. Ah man. Anyways, that is Virtual Cop. It is just doesn't feel the same without the gun. So I play this on the arcade version. It's much more accurate than this, but playing with the controller is just not the right way to play this. Now we're gonna try Daytona. Let's see how Daytona USA plays. I played the Dreamcast port of this and it's really good, but I hope that the Saturn version will be just as good. I never played the Saturn version before either. I did play the arcade version once and I thought it was okay. I'm not sure if that's the port of the Dreamcast one or the Saturn one, but it does look okay. Let's see if this one is good. And this time, let's go check the option menu first. Hate seeing this screen. Why won't it just bypass it? Alright, so let's see how it plays. That's the thing I love about this old Sega console, is that it doesn't have disc reading problem compared to the Sony PlayStation system, so you can just pop in a disc in and it'll load up instantly. So here's arcade, Saturn mode, ranking, option. Let's go to option and see how all of the configuration is. Maybe we could get a good sense of stuff in there. So view up, view down, acceleration, brake. The A button is pretty much useless, and all the upper buttons are also useless too. But you can have different variations of these configurations if you want. I'll just go with the first one. Maybe it'll do us better. So arcade mode. And let's play ourselves some Daytona USA. Yeah, since we're not good yet, let's start with beginners this time. So, oh man, press the wrong button.
Please select a race course.
Okay, show short 8 laps. Beginners.
Please choose manual or automatic transmission.
Yeah, it's always gonna be auto.
Start your engine.
Alright, so let's play ourselves in Daytona and see how it goes. Come on. Okay, so that's the pause. Alright, let's see how we can... Oh my gosh. It runs so fast I couldn't handle the turning. I guess we had to brake a little bit just to get it rolling here. Graphics looks okay, I think. It's just the gameplay is kind of a little bit sloppy. I mean, it doesn't run as smooth as other racing games, but it does go very fast though. I still think that Outrun is better than this, but of course I'm not alright. Oh man, I am in the very last positions. And I actually go like around 110 or 15 miles per hour, and I can't seem to pass anyone yet. Oh man. Are they seriously that this is beginner's mode? Because beginner's mode, you shouldn't have any problems with this. Should be at least 30th or 20th place. Oh my gosh.
You placed 40th.
I guess they just kicked me out because I'm not that good with the driving there. Let's try Saturn mode. Maybe Saturn mode might be better.
Please select a race course.
It's pretty much the same thing, but I just hope that the controller is better.
Manual or automatic transmission. Gentlemen,
Alright, so let's try Saturn mode. If Saturn mode is better, then we just had to bypass arcade mode altogether. Hopefully I'm ready this time. Go! Let's go! Yeah, I have to say Saturn mode runs quite better, I think.
Are you alright?
Of course I'm not alright, stop saying that. Maybe you need to buy like a wheel control for this game to make it function good or something, because I don't feel the controller is that well. I mean, the controller works kind of okay, but the gameplay is just so very sloppy. I mean, the car doesn't stay on one lane for too long, and you could easily hit the wall if you're like a little bit late in the turning there. And if you do turn, you sometimes might hit the other side very easily too, like the grass here, which slows you down. And you have nothing else to do but to actually brake while you turn, and that's just terrible. I mean, I just can't work with this game. It's not that smooth driving game compared to like games like Gran Turismo's or Need for Speed. So I don't think Daytona USA is the kind of racing game that will actually be meant for me. So yeah, but other than that, I had to say Daytona USA looks good, and actually if you have some friends that would actually be there to play with you, you might have a little bit of fun with this. But the gameplay to me is kind of sloppy at times. The controller doesn't feel that smooth. It doesn't flow that well. So, but I think it might be a good arcade conversion, just not good gameplay. So, if I had to compare that to the Saturn version or to the Dreamcast version, I might have to say maybe the Dreamcast version might be better. I'll have to look into that, but yeah, that is those three compilation games. So that's Virtua Fighter 2, Virtual Cop, and Daytona right there. Now let's try those other games like Ultimate Mortal Kombat 3. You guys love Ultimate Mortal Kombat 3. I love Ultimate Mortal Kombat 3. So let's play Ultimate Mortal Kombat 3 and see how that one fares. I mean, this one is a little bit closer to the arcade, so you're not gonna get Rain, you're not gonna get Noob Saibot. You still will get Shiva though. Shiva is still in the game. All the characters from Mortal Kombat 3 are still in there. That includes Shiva, so there's nothing really bad about that. If you're the kind of people who don't like Shiva and rather prefer Rain, Noob Saibot, then you don't need to get this one. Anyways, let's see what this version got. I know the code for it, so I hope it still works. So, and the code for us is, I think it's CRAZYCYRAX, something like that. So let's try that on this controller. You have to hear Shao Kahn laugh twice to confirm that it actually does work. So I do that because I don't want that could easily unlock the 3 characters. So let's see. So the codes and not. I mean, it has a lot of screen you have to bypass before the game actually starts to. Just remember the screen with the skull. I think CRAZYCYRAX. There it goes. It works. So let's see what the cheat menu looks like. So here's the combat menu. Here's the game configurations. I'm gonna configure this a little bit in my style. So Shang Tsung's morph, you can change his morph to anything you like. So you can have him change to all characters. You can have him change to only the opponents, so that will reduce the loading times. Or you can just disable altogether. I just keep it the way it is. I don't want to fight him fair too. So yeah, everything works okay. Let's see how the control works. Now let's go to the sound menu. Yeah, I think they're good. Okay, so that's the control. And I just want to turn the Y button. I turn that. Where's the Y button? Yeah. I want to turn that to a high punch because it's next to the Z button, which is a high kick. And I want to turn the B button into a low punch. The X buttons could be a block button. I want the block and the run buttons to be down there somewhere too. And the A button to be the run button. That's pretty much my preference right there. Alright, so let's go to that secret cheat menus. And we want free play, we want Ermac, we want Melina, we want classic subs, and we want to turn the fatality time off so that we can have a lot of times to do fatalities. But I don't like one round match, so that's all we need to change. And we can play the combat. So as you can see, it has a better mode select screen right here. So on the Super Nintendo and Sega Genesis version, this mode select screen looks different, but all the modes are still the same. So we have some free play here. Don't have to worry about credits. We had to bypass a few load time screen too. And here's all the characters in the game. As you can see, Melina, Ermac, and Sub-Zeros classic Sub-Zeros are all in there just like they were in the arcade. But fortunately, I just put them there because I like them there. My favorite is still Cyrax. And there it is. I'll go with the Master, the very far one. Alright, so let's play ourselves some Ultimate Mortal Kombat 3 here. No rain and new sideboard, but it's still good. Still Mortal Kombat 3. Also, this game does not have brutalities. It still has animality though. So, if you like brutality, then this version is not for you. Ah, I forgot I changed the 2 buttons. There it goes. There it goes. Ah, shit. And Shao Kahn actually announced the name this time, so that's great. Fight. Like the Super Nintendo and Genesis version, however, the CPU is not that forgiving. Yeah, that's arcade perfect fatality right there. Scorpion's fatality, where he summons all the version of him, that one is in this game too. But unlike the Super Nintendo and Genesis version, however, that one is just too censor. I mean, after that, it's just a black screen, and I just don't like the fatality. Let's see, maybe we can have better luck with another character, perhaps. So let's try classic Sub-Zero this time. Maybe we'll have a better chance with him than Cyrax. There's also human smoke in this game too, if you actually want to choose smoke for that. You have to hold the button to unlock him, but I don't like holding. I mean, human smoke is pretty much just Scorpion, so we got Scorpion right here. We don't need him. Oh man, this game plays so fast. There it goes. Oh my gosh. There it goes. Yeah. Sub-Zero is good in this game. Alright. Fight. There it goes. Finish him. Oh my god. Yeah, it's kind of fast, so it's hard to do fatality when the speed is like 2 times like that. But it's still a very good fighting game though. All the graphics looks on par with the arcade version. So let's battle the other Sub-Zero and see how it fares. I just don't like looking at that loading screen. Alright, so let's see. Fighting him at the desert. Only thing I don't like is that they put the wrong music at these stages. Usually with the music here, it usually loads the bank music, I think. And in here, it's not the bank music. It's pretty much they put like the bridge music in here, so it doesn't feel that authentic to the arcade ones. Oh yeah. Like I said, all these CPU knows what you're gonna do before you actually do them, so most of the time you just have to be cautious when doing it. And that's what Mortal Kombat games usually are when you're playing like single player like this, is that you always have to be cautious because you never know when what the computer will do. They're much more forgiving on the second tries because they beat you once, and they'll pretty much say, "Oh yeah, we beat him once, so let's let him win for a change." Yeah, I can never do combo that good. If only this was the Super Nintendo controller, maybe I'll have better luck with it, but I haven't played the Saturn controller that much, so I don't know. I mean, I don't get used to this controller that much compared to what the Super Nintendo does, but yeah, I had to say, Ultimate Mortal Kombat 3 on the Saturn works really great. I mean, I'm not a professional at this game, but it is a good game if you ever wanna look for a fighting game that's perfect for the Saturn. So that's great right there. That's Ultimate Mortal Kombat 3. You can tell this stupid jewel cases are loose now. That's the one thing I don't like about jewel cases. They just aren't reliable. Now we're gonna try the legendary X-Men, Children of the Atom. Look at that 4 scores down there. Those are excellent scores. So let's see what the X-Men game will play like. So let's see, look at that. That is the X-Men disc right there. So let's see how it plays. Now this game does have one surprise in there too. And I'll tell you that surprise. That surprise is that considering that Capcom made this game, this was one of the earlier fighting games that Capcom made before they made the crossover series where Street Fighter vs. X-Men, or X-Men vs. Street Fighter, or Marvel Superhero vs. Street Fighter. This was the game that started it all, because hidden within this game is another character, and it's not an X-Men character. If you saw the Tekken 7 trailer and you see a Capcom character in there, that character is the character that's hidden in this game. You know who I'm talking about, and if you don't, then here he is.
平八さんを止められなかった時はあの人を平八さんを殺してください。
よかろう。時来たればうぬへの借りを返す。
That's him. He is in this game before he's in that game. So if you're a fan of him, then you might be a fan of this. Maybe the code for this guy still works in here too. I'll see if I could find him. According to what I remember, I think the code was, yeah, the code was in there somewhere. Let's see if the code works. I mean, we have to go to Spiral first, I think. And if it doesn't work, we'll have to play with the other character. But we go to Spiral, we go there for a few seconds, then 1, 2, 3, 4 to this guy, and then this guy, this guy, this guy, this guy, and then down here, and then wait 1, 2, 3 again. And there he is! Look at that! That's him! That's the guy that will be in Tekken 7. Fortunately on this game, he's not as good as what he is later on, but this is the early version of him. I should have chosen automatic, considering I'm not good at this game yet. This may look like Street Fighter, but it plays nothing like Street Fighter. I mean, Akuma in this game, he is still, I mean, it's kind of floaty a little bit, but he is good. Can't wait to play him in Tekken 7 though. Tekken 7, I would really love to see how he plays Tekken style. Oh my gosh, come on. Oh, he can oh man, he can shoot 2 fireball. That must mean that this is actually the much stronger version of him rather than the crappier version of him. Because if I remember, Akuma can only shoot 1 fireball and this guy can shoot like 2 of them. I just don't get why the speed is a little bit slow here. I mean, it's too floaty. Other than that, I'm just not good at this game yet. Ah, and the guy with the 6, or the girl with the 6 arm is that girl with the 6 arm is really strong. She had those like Arabian style knife that she can throw at you too. Oh my gosh, and she used every single combo from every single guy in this game to kill you with. Oh my gosh, she grabs me every time. Can't believe it. I'll choose Wolverine. Maybe Wolverine has a better chance than Akuma. But this is the like Super Street Fighter 2 Turbo at the time. Even though Akuma was in this game, he still has no identity yet at the time, so people don't know who he is until the Alpha series. So yeah, Super Street Fighter 2, he doesn't even have a super combo. And this game was the first game that gives him a super combo. And then Street Fighter Alpha came, and then that will give him his identity. And people finally now knows that he's Akuma. Back then, everybody was just like, "Oh, that's a mystery guy. Who is that guy?" But now he's Akuma. So, okay, let's see how Wolverine plays. Maybe we could beat this Newton lady here.
Round 1. Fight.
Capcoms are very creative at fighting games like this. Drill claws. Oh man, she can air throw you too? Come on, Wolverine, drill claw her. Tornado claw. I mean, you just have to not play this game like a regular fighting game and play it more like an arcade beat up. Because it does feel a little bit like an arcade beat up, just with oh Oh man, with a kind of arcadey style added to the mix. I just love how this game has like multiple layers of the stages in there. Like if you fight, you fall into another floor of the stage. Come on, Wolverine, kill her. Oh my gosh. There he goes. Finally beat her. Still have one more round though.
Round 2.
Yeah, there he goes. The thing that's kind of a little bit bothered is that I think this game has way too much flashiness to it. And if you look at those swords right there, man, you not only have those swords, but you also have those spark flashing out too. I would have loved it better if it has less flashes in there. Too much flashiness, it's too much. It's kind of like the same opinion I have with the new Killer Instinct that came out on Xbox One. I mean, that game is really great, but it has so many super special effects in there. Everything you see is flashiness all over. I was like, as good as the game is, too much flashiness is too much flashiness, man. I just want to see my character fight the way it is. I just don't want to see too much flashiness in the game. Having a little bit of flashiness would have been good. Oh man, that must be her super ultimate combo or something. I mean, just one of that, and she could technically kill me. I only have like 1 more seconds. Oh man. The first opponents, and I and I did not have any luck at all. Oh my gosh. Come on, Wolverine. Don't tell me Spyro is like a... I mean, she felt like a boss in this game. I mean, the first opponent, and I'm having this much trouble with it. Oh my gosh. This never happens in Marvel vs. Capcom. It usually doesn't take this long to actually beat the first opponent. Come on, Spyro, die so I can go to the next person. Oh man, she has way too many arms. And if that doesn't help her that much, she also has like those flying daggers to kill you too. Come on, kill her. There he goes. It's just my luck, I think. Let's go. Let's see what the next opponent will be like. It must have been someone better. Let's see who it could be next. Alright. So we're battling the Silver Samurai. Yeah, that used to be my favorite character too. I just forgot how to do all his moves. There it is. Haha, Silver Samurai. He used to be good, but now Wolverine is in the house. Oh my gosh, he makes a clever comeback. I feel that the Wolverine in this game is like the much better Wolverine than the one in Marvel vs. Capcom. Now this one actually has some better flow of gameplay than the other ones.
Round 2.
Drill Claw, come on. Come on, Silver Man. Let's fight. I get why he's all silver and stuff. And that's the thing with Marvel characters. Some of them are like too silver. You have like Silver Samurai, and then later you have like Silver Surfer, and then you have Iceman who is like silver, and then you have Colossus who is all metal and silver and stuff too. So many silver characters in the Marvel universe. And then you have Wolverine with all those adamantium, which is color silver. Yeah, there's nothing you can do to beat me. How do you do his super moves anyways? Oh my god. Oh, come on, Wolverine. Berserker Barat doesn't even help. Why? Alright, so that is the legendary X-Men Children of the Atom there. So it's a great game if you can find it. So that's that. I'm not gonna go through every single game though, so I mean that would take a long time if we had to go through all of them. So I'll just show you all the best ones. Yeah, we'll go through with Rayman and Resident Evil here, and then we can just end this with a good note. So Rayman here is actually a great game. So let's see how it plays. It's one of the few great games that were on the Saturn and PlayStation at the time. Heard that there was a Super Nintendo version coming too, and it never got to fruition. So, but that's all right because this game is actually that good. Let's see how it plays. Ah, that sounds great. Back with Ubisoft is awesome. They're still awesome, but they've been doing a lot of bad practices nowadays. So there it is. There's that original Rayman. All right. All right. So yeah, let's just start with all of those. Okay. I'll skip the intro. And let's get to some platforming. Okay. We're exploring. Okay. That's funny. Okay, so let's get on with some of the platform. We don't have the punch and the helicopter thing yet, so we just have to get used to all the jumping and stuff. Yeah. You see how happy Rayman is to get to the end of that level. He's so joyful. Okay, so second part of the level. I think this is where we got to punch them. Oh, come on, Ray. Oh, man. He should be able to grab those stuff. How come he doesn't grab them? Let's go take our picture and save. There he goes. Ah, what's up there? Ah, nothing's up there. I love how if you punch those fish, they'll just like fall with a broken tooth. Okay, let's see what the third level looks like. Ah, come on, give me my punching ability already. I want to be able to punch them in the face. Hello, Rayman. Ah, come on. She's gonna help me in my quest, so now we got the punch. Alright. So, there he goes. Yeah, the music just sounds so good. Ah, come on. You're going the wrong way. There he goes. Yeah! I love the humor in this game. Okay, we'll play like 2 more levels and then we can just go on. So There's some friend we just rescued. Hopefully they'll come in handy later. Ah, there it goes. Ah, the golden fist. I love that part. Punching the fish, seeing those broken teeth. That just feels so great. There's also the Sega there's also an Atari Jaguar version of this game too. If you're the few people that still has an Atari Jaguar, I think that version is kind of okay too. Oh my gosh. Oh my god, he's not dead yet? And there's also a Game Boy Advance version, a PlayStation version. And if you love Rayman, you can also play Rayman Origins and Rayman Legends as well. Those are always better too. Those are like the faithful recreations of these games. Oh man, what do you want? Get away from me! There it goes. Oh man. Yeah, now we got like 3 of them. Yes! Alright, 1 more levels and then we can go to that other game. Resident Evil. Ah man, that just looks, that is just good. That is fantastic right there. Okay, so that's, oh yeah, let's save the game for a while. Let's see, what kind of level is this one? Maybe we get to fly? There it goes. Oh man, the dog is awakened. Anyways, I'll just end this video right here. That dog is lousy. Okay, with the annoying dog away, now we can test Resident Evil on the Sega Saturn. And after that, I'll give you my final opinions on the Sega Saturn here. So, let's see how Resident Evil fares on the Sega Saturn here. So, alright. There we go, Sega Saturn. It'll play just like the PlayStation original, I think. If you love the original Resident Evil, you can very much go and get the GameCube remake. That one is way better, but the original has some very eerie feeling to it, which is why I love the original better. But the GameCube version is still truly the best one, the best way to remake a game ever too. Alright, let's...
Resident Evil.
Okay. They have some very critzy cutscene here. There's Jill and there's Chris. Let's try Chris. They have this very cinematic cutscene openings. Hopefully we can skip through them. Yeah, we can skip through them. I mean, they're good and all, but I just don't want to waste time with them. Okay, so let's see what the mansion looks like. If you had played this back in the 90s or late 90s, you have like a whole lot of nightmarish fun with this game. They do have voiceover too.
I don't know what happened.
Barry, where's Barry? Well, I'm sorry, but he's probably
No.
Okay, so seems like Barry is gone now.
What is that?
I'll go and check. Okay, Jill and I will stay in the hall in case of an emergency.
Alright.
Chris? Take care.
There he goes. Okay, so now we get to control Chris. We're probably gonna meet that first zombies and then play a few levels of exploration here and there. And then we can call it a day on this Resident Evil Sega Saturn thing. Okay, so here's the hallway here, the dining hall, I think. And here you pretty much use the old-fashioned way of going stuff, like using the D-pad instead of an analog stick. You don't have free roaming directions like you're used to what game nowadays do have, but yeah, you actually go by one directions at a time instead of all directions. And the way the camera is rolling like that, it sometimes could startle you or surprise you too. Let's see, the zombie must be on this side, so hopefully we could find a way to kill that zombies. Where are you, zombies? Must be down this way. There he is. Show your faces. Show that ugly faces. This used to scare me as a kid. But when I first saw this, it was the PlayStation version, and it was on a commercial, so not the actual game. Right now, it's actually in the actual game, so just gotta get away from him. Ah! Push him! I just don't like these kinds of controls, because they're kind of slow and clunky at times. Come on, draw your guns, Chris! How you draw your guns? Ah, maybe you can't. Yeah, I probably had to start looking at my inventory first before I face that zombies again. Probably haven't had my weapons set yet. So let's see. Yeah, I pretty much have a knife right now. I can't. I guess we can use the knife. Let's try again. I remember Jill has a gun. Maybe Chris only has a knife? Come on, Chris, do something. Knife combat. Okay. This doesn't seem to be enough for this mission. Come on, it's enough to kill the zombies. Ah. Come on, Chris. I don't get it. I'm pressing every single buttons I know of and he doesn't even do anything. Oh my gosh. That is sad. Maybe have better luck with Jill than Chris, I think. He's holding the knife by the hands right there and it just doesn't work. That's sad. Let's try one more time. Maybe we can find a way to use the knife. Pretty sure I haven't equipped it, did I? Oh man, that is just sad. Let's try Jill this time. Maybe Jill has a better luck. Okay, let's go with Jill. I don't really enjoy Chris having that knife like that. If anything, I want a gun so you can shoot the heads of those things. Those zombies. Those creatures. Either that or maybe I'm using the wrong Saturn controller for this. Hopefully all controllers were able to be faithful to this. Alright, so now we have Barry here.
What a mansion!
Captain Wesker, where's Chris?
Stop it! Don't open that door!
But Chris is...
What is it? Maybe it's Chris. Now, Jill, can you go?
I'm going with you. Chris is our old partner, you know.
Okay, let me handle this.
Alright, so
Stay
now
alert!
Barry is gonna go with Jill. Man, those two could have gone with Chris on Chris's scenario too. I don't get why they just can't go together. I mean, it's not like a whole pack of zombies gonna like surround you or something. You're more than the zombies.
A dining room.
Jill is lucky because she has someone with her. Chris is not so lucky. Hopefully she's lucky enough to use the gun too. Let's see, does she has a gun? Yeah, she has a gun and a knife. I just don't get why Chris doesn't have the gun. I mean, he has a knife and he doesn't even want to use it. Okay, let's go meet that zombie. Hopefully Jill knows how to...
What is this?
What is it?
Blood. Jill, see if you can find any other clues. I'll be examining this.
Okay, so Barry is in here
not
now.
Chris's blood.
Barry is so intrigued by the blood now, so he's not gonna be with us. We'll just have to go meet that zombie by ourselves. It doesn't seem like anybody wants to meet that zombie but us. So see if Jill has a chance, because we know Chris ended up being some kind of meal to that. Ah, man, come on, Jill, you turned the wrong way. I just don't like this clunky control at the time. Okay, let's turn back in. That's the thing about going to the door there. Every time you touch the door, it's like a cutscene where the door opens. I mean, they could just load to the other side. They make here just to hamper a little bit of load times in there. Okay, meet that zombie, say hello, and kill him. Okay, we know what he's gonna do. Let's go back. Okay, Joe, get out of there. Get out of there, get out of there, yes. Oh, not that way. Ah! That's the thing I hate about this controller. It's the control here. It's just, come on, aim your gun. Why won't she aim her gun? Jill, your gun! Oh man. How do you equip this thing? Maybe I were at the wrong one. File. Map. Well, we got the map. Ah, there he goes. Ah. Oh my gosh. I'm just not well suited to this kind of game. can't believe I failed twice. Failed both Chris and Jill. Anyways, couldn't kill that zombie, so poor me. But like I said, that's Resident Evil on the Saturn. It's actually a good game. It's just that I play the modern Resident Evil with a different kind of control, and it has free directions. The earlier Resident Evil, you had to just get used to the way they turn, and the way they turn is not actually that accurate compared to how today's the way they actually move and turn. So yeah, that's some of the Saturn games that I can show you guys. I really want to show you more, but we don't have a lot of time. So anyways, my final opinions on this Sega Saturn here. Sega Saturn. It's a really nice little console. I mean, it was Sega's attempt at 32 bits again. It got some really good arcade games in there, fighting games, import games. If you have a Sega Saturn, then I guess the good way for you to get a nifty collection is to get more imports for it, which is what I'm planning to do later on. But right now, I'm just enjoying what I got. I might need to go buy more RAM cards. Probably had to install one of that new batteries in there. It seems like the one that are already in there is already dead, so we have to replace that soon, maybe. And yeah, so yeah, maybe I have to buy more games for it. It's nicely designed. It doesn't have any disc read error at all. So unlike the PlayStation 2 and the PS1 and all that stuff, where they usually have disc read errors, this one doesn't. It doesn't have that stupid power bricks, which is a good thing. It has some nice controllers of improvement over the Genesis controller, and even the Dreamcast controller too, so that's another good thing. All the game works. You can region free it if you have that action replays that I just showed you earlier. And I say it's a good bargain. I bought this Saturn 5 years ago for only 60 bucks. That comes only with one controllers, actually, not all the controllers that I show you here, but a lot of these games are really expensive though. The one that are actually over here and not the Japanese one. So if you could find some imports, that would be great, because imports are much cheaper. So for this one, if I had to get a grade though, I have to actually give it an A, because it's actually good. All the control works great. All the games are fun to play. You have all these games that you can ever get on these, but the only thing is, a lot of the used market that sell these games usually sell them for a hefty price. So if you can find one around the $20 to $50 range, then that's okay. If you can find it more expensive than that, then that's probably not a good deal, and your best bet is to just get some imports. So, but if you can find this 3-in-1 like the Virtua Fighter 2 and Virtual Cop in here in Daytona USA, then this will at least give you some enjoyment though. Virtual Fighter 2 and Virtual Cops are actually good. Daytona USA is actually a little bit wonky, but if you can handle that, you could play it. And yeah, it's an A console. There's nothing wrong with it. You can region free it any way you want. You don't have to hack it. It doesn't have that power breaks. You have 2 players. You can even have 3D gameplays with Nights into Dreams too, if you have that game and that controllers. And yeah, that's pretty much I have to say about the Sega Saturn here. It was pretty much one of the few consoles that I miss back at the late 90s. If I had to tell you stories about my life back in the late 90s, I had to say that I have never owned any of the late 90s console ever. Never owned any one of them. Sega Saturn, PlayStation, N64, 3DO, Jaguar, Dreamcast, all of those were never owned by me. So I never have a chance to play any of them, and to be able to have a chance to play a console like this is actually a blessing to me, because these are great consoles that I have missed out on. Because in the late all the way through the 90s, everything about gaming to me is pretty much just Nintendo, Sega, pretty much Nintendo, Super Nintendo, and Sega Genesis. Those three only. I never really got through all the 3D stuff, all the Sega, all the disc based and all that stuff. Pretty much everything about my gaming in the 90s are all just cartridges. So I have never played any disc based system at all until late 2000, maybe early 2000, like 2001, 2002. That's when I got my PlayStation 2 and my GameCube and so on and so on. But yeah, my first disc-based system that I actually bought was the PlayStation 2 though, and GameCube was after that. That's when I got older, actually found jobs somewhere, and actually had to save a lot to get those. And then I eventually bought myself a PC in late 2001 too. But the Saturns and PlayStations and N64 and all that stuff, yeah, I never really got to them back in the old days. I really want to get to them, but for some reason my parents never agreed to buy me one, because what they say is that I already have one, so I have no reason to get more. And now that I grew up and able to afford to get some, then yeah, this is what I do. I finally got what I really wanted, and that's these late system here. And I'm just glad that system like the Sega Saturn and N64 still works. PlayStation, that's a mixed thing. So yeah, so that's all I have to say about the Saturn. It's an A console. It's great. If you have one, then you owe it yourself to you owe yourself a piece of Sega history here. So I'll see you later.